What's up everybody and welcome back to the channel. I thought I'd pop in for a quick video, first impressions if you may of the new Aliens game, Aliens Fireteam Elite. Now at this moment in time I've spent one stream playing it with randoms through matchmaking, and also a little bit of time more this morning just by myself also playing it. And right off the bat, the best compliment that I can pay this game is that it really does seem like the people over at Cold Iron Studios, the developer of the game, are fans of the franchise of Aliens, and they really took to heart the source material to the point where it kind of seems like some of it is literally tapping directly into whether it be sound or specific scenes or anything like that from all of the material that we have, like the movies in the past. But it's too early for me to essentially do a review of it, I would say. But I think I know enough about the game now already so that I can maybe answer some questions about it, or more specifically recommend it to you based on certain conditions. So let's get started. So when we are talking about what kind of game this is of course a cooperative third-person survival shooter, so kind of like Back 4 Blood or Left 4 Dead or something like that. You play with two other members on your team. There's fantastic matchmaking in the game, which I didn't have a single problem with since the game launched yesterday. I wasn't struggling at all to find random people to play with. Of course, as interest in the game wanes going forward, you don't know how easy it's going to be to find people, but if you have a group of friends that already wants to play this, you are golden, you're good to go. Essentially, it's a bunch of missions that are strung together into 4 separate campaigns that you can play. There's also a horde mode with the game, which is available, and through doing the missions, there's different character classes that you can use, there's different weapons that you can use, which you can use in in-game currency that you earn from the missions that you play to actually buy those weapons. Those weapons can be further customized, and attachments can be put onto them, bigger clips, different barrels, all that sort of thing. And then of course there's also the aesthetics of your character and of the weapons, which can also be changed, so you can customize all of this, and that's basically it. Now, as I said, the compliment that I paid Cold Iron Studios was the fact that they so faithful to the source material. But the other thing that I also want to say is I love how the studio kind of went like, this is all about gameplay for us. We're gonna go for like a really strong core gameplay loop. We want it to be fun to shoot these aliens, to use the different skills like the shoulder mounted rocket launcher and all of this. And so we're not gonna give a fuck about cool weapon swap animations, or even just having people's mouths move when they talk. They just kind of like went, no, the budget of the game is going to the gunplay, shooting the aliens, setting the set pieces, making different kinds of gear, making the weapons and everything customizable. And I gotta say, I respect it. I mean, this is a budget AA title. It's so difficult these days with all of the different naming conventions and how games get qualified, really, but this is by no means a AAA release. And so when you play games like this, there's a little bit of jank that you can expect. There's a little bit of like unpolished here and there, if that's even a word. During my let's say 8 hours with the game, I had one situation where I suddenly couldn't use my weapons. This actually happened on stream. And we on the stream, we're running around, we're going, okay, what are we gonna do? Like, do I have to back out of the game or something like that? And I just ended up like running and getting myself downed by an alien, and then suddenly I could shoot again. So this kind of thing, I mean, of course there's this very early in the game, there could be patches that addresses this, but yeah, it's to be expected of this, and it's not something that detracted from my fun with the game at all. And I mean, that's really the point of this, is the fun. Now, for the last part of this video, what I want to discuss is I want to discuss 2 things which I really like in the game, and then 2 things which I think are sort of like a little bit lacking. And let's start out with the positive stuff, right? So first of all, the sound design, or more specifically, the gunfire and the alien sounds and everything like that, is so true to the source material. I mean, more specifically Aliens, which this game obviously taps a lot from, with the Space Marines and the guns and all of that. It's literally like the same sounds from that. So much so that for my stream I was using a lot of the sounds from the movie, just as, you know, a whole thing where I was running it off my soundboard and just like messing around. And a lot of the times you couldn't really hear the difference between that. If some of my sounds had gunfire on them and the game was doing gunfire, they kind of sounded the same. So it wouldn't surprise me if they just literally didn't take the gunfire sounds from the game and just went like, that's good shit, let's go, let's just put that in there. So I really like that. I think the sound design is just fantastic. I mean, just listen to this.
Just about to kick power to the mains.
The second thing that I really enjoyed about the game is the weapon modifications, but more specifically when it comes to decorating the weapons. So you can of course choose colors for the weapons, but you can also have decals that you unlock through opening chests in the missions, but also through leveling up the characters. And what you can do with these decals is ridiculous. This makes any other game which has like weird prints and stuff like that you can put onto guns, it just puts it to shame. You can adjust these, you can spin them around, you can make them bigger, smaller, you can put them skew across the gun, anything like that. It's just so cool. It's such an awesome feature. I really love it, and I was blown away last night when I saw just exactly what you could do with it, and that literally every single person could have a different looking gun just because of the fact that you can choose the sizes and the orientation of these decals. Now I've only unlocked a few of these decals to thus far, so I'm sure there's going to be a whole bunch more in the game, and it'll just be awesome, you know, all the stuff you can do with the weapons. Of course, there's also a whole big group of weapons. It's not just 5, 6, 7 weapons that you can play with. So you're going to have all of these weapons, from pistols, submachine guns, shotguns, flamethrowers, rocket launchers, pulse rifles, DMRs, sniper rifles, everything that you can just decorate with this, and it's just such a cool feature. I really love it. Now when it comes to the two things that I don't enjoy, they kind of like somehow a little bit connected, I suppose. But in a way, this might just be me nitpicking, because the first one that I had, you know, kind of like wonder why they didn't include it is, you know, voice over IP. So a way for you to actually talk to the other, you know, Marines in your squad. Of course, if you playing with, you know, your own buddies and stuff, you'll probably be on Discord and this really wouldn't be a problem. But because this game does have matchmaking, it's kind of like, I feel like that's a missed opportunity, because if you've ever played games like Left 4 Dead or Back 4 Blood, you obviously know that a lot of the times you end up with like a crazy situation where you just meet really interesting people or really funny people. And I think it kind of like just helps with the whole, you know, immersion with the game. So it would be really cool if you could actually have voice communication, which isn't there. And then that kind of brings us to the second point, which is still multiplayer, you know, related. But the point is that there's no crossplay. So if you're on PC, you're only playing with other PC players, and if you're on console, you're only playing with other respected, you know, console players. And that's also a little bit of a problem. It was like, again, on our stream last night, it was a thing where there were some people in the stream who had already bought the game, and we were like, cool, we're gonna squad up. And yeah, unfortunately, they were on a different platform than I was, and we couldn't do it. So those are the two things that are kind of like, you know, but as you notice, both of those things are not at all gameplay related, meaning like it's not something about the game. Like I'm like, yeah, it's not fun to play, or the guns are shit, or, you know, it's boring, or, you know, something like that. It's just, you know, this additional, you know, multiplayer functionality. But in closing, what I would say is, if you're a fan of Aliens, so whether it's any movie in the franchise or the franchise and all, because there's something for everybody here. It tries a little bit of the horror aesthetic. It definitely wants like the wild action and, you know, the big set pieces where you're shooting at a bunch of stuff and a dropship is coming in to pick you up and all of that. It doesn't matter if you're a fan of any of that, there's something here for you. So if you're an Aliens fan, I definitely think that this is an easy purchase. It's not priced to be the same price as a full AAA title. As I said, it's budget. So I definitely think that you get your money's worth from this. At least that's how I feel as being a Aliens, you know, franchise fan. So I think I can definitely recommend it to that. And then I will take it one step further and say, if you're a fan of games like Left 4 Dead, Back 4 Blood, you know, these kind of squad-based, you know, horde shooters, then again, I think there's something here for you. The game, when it clicks, when the gameplay loop goes, when you're unlocking new guns, you're doing everything like that, it's really, really, really fun. The only thing I would say is obviously dedicate some time to it. The missions tend to drag on a little, especially later on in the game, later on in the campaign. You're looking at like 35 to 45 minutes, sometimes, you know, up to an hour, especially if you're doing a little bit of exploring. to complete one mission. And of course, there are no mid-mission save points, or like a caravan, or anything like that we're used to in games like Back 4 Blood and Left 4 Dead, unfortunately. So that's the only other thing that I would add on to that. But definitely let me know in the comments down below if you've picked this up, if you're enjoying it, if you are still on the fence, if you're waiting for a price drop, if you're waiting anything like that. And otherwise, let me know if you're enjoying it, because I really am. But thank you so much for watching, especially if you made it this far. Go ahead and check out the Discord in the description down below and join it for a group of like-minded gamers that play this game and Outriders and a whole bunch of other games. And in that Discord server, we have areas where you can squad up with people, you can ask for help, or just generally hang out, because we're a bunch of cool people. But thank you so much for watching, and it's just super important to me that you have a fantastic morning, a great afternoon, an awesome evening, wherever you are in the world. And until next video, fucking cheers.
They want the best of me now, best of me now, best of me now, best of me. They want the best of me now, best of me now, best of me now, best of me.